Let's do this.
Hello my friends and welcome to Jimmy Draws Art. I'm Jimmy Dragon. Well, once again, I come to you with some new artwork I want to show everyone. Today's drawing I decided to try something. I was looking around on DeviantArt the other week and I came across this image. It's a pose reference from someone on DeviantArt known as AdorkaStock. Well, I was intrigued by this image and I wanted to replicate this pose in my drawing and in my style. Now, I don't know if this was right or not. I really don't know how to tackle this pose reference, so I took a piece of tracing paper and I decided to trace the simple outlines of this pose. This way I can see just what was really going on with this pose. I really did try to draw this pose outright at first, but I couldn't get the angle right of the pose. I really didn't want to outright trace the figure I did. Honestly, figure drawing is not my strong suit here. Some days I can get things close enough and how I want something to look, but other days, like today, I couldn't get it right for the life of me. So I decided to use the tracing paper as a cheat sheet. I overlaid the tracing paper on my drawing page, and I'm not too sure what to call this, but I decided to guide my hand over it. I did my best to mimic that movement over the drawing paper to get the line right. Then I used my tracing paper overlay to check my work to see if I got it just right. If I couldn't get the end result to look right, I would place a mark on my paper at the beginning of the stroke and at the end of the stroke, and then I would complete the line. Is this cheating? I'm still drawing the image, I guess. I really wanted this picture to look right. I'm mainly just trying to train myself to be able to draw what I actually see. I'm not sure if this is the way to go, but I really wanted to get this look just right. As I do this voiceover, I just realized of another technique I could try to get it just right. Maybe I'll give that idea a go on my next drawing. There is a drawing I want to do for another project. I haven't started it yet because the pose is another dynamic pose, and I wanted to get the angle of the pose just right. Doing this picture just made me realize what I could do to be able to start the drawing. I may still do what I did in this drawing and trace over the reference pose and check my work as I go. I really am trying to level up my figure drawing, but to be honest with you, I really dislike practicing figure drawing. Anyway, back to this drawing. I really was just trying to practice my figure drawing with this drawing, but I liked the way the drawing was coming out. I decided to try to move forward with the drawing by adding in the dress. I honestly didn't know what I wanted for the dress, so I started to look up an image search on Google, and I looked up a woman in a dress sitting on a chair. I found a few images that I liked, but one I found made me think I should try this. I also wanted to find something that still showed the figure drawing I did and not hide the figure. So I found this image of a woman in a red dress. I'm also not very good at drawing clothing, but I think I did pretty good with this one. It was a lot easier than I thought it would be. I also took some inspiration from the chair she's sitting in. I did somewhat my own version between that and the one from the original AdorkaStock Reference. Overall, I think it came out nicely. I will be honest with you, I finished the drawing, I scanned in the drawing, and was ready to show everyone, but my wife saw the image and was upset with the drawing I did. You see, we hold up to a different standard in our faith and how we present ourselves. Our faith asks us to dress modestly. We do in our lives, but she wanted me to uphold this standard in my drawings as well. I have drawings from my past that didn't uphold to the standard of modesty. Today I really tried to hold to that standard. When she got a look at the drawing, she wanted me to fix the drawing by covering up the drawing by placing a black slip across her knees and covering the thigh area. I told her that would just ruin the drawing, so in the end, I decided to just redo the drawing. I finished the sketching and it was on to the inking of the drawing. I spent a lot of time on the drawing that the inking went by pretty quickly both times. Then again, I feel pretty confident in the inking part of my drawings. I do feel that it is the one area where I do pretty good, and some people tell me that I shine in this area of my drawings. Maybe I should do a future drawing where I just show how I ink my drawings. Would you be interested in that as a future video? Comment below if that is something you would like to watch from me. Well, I decided to pull out my Copic markers for this drawing. I really love the Copic markers. I have said that in the past, I know, but if you can, you should be using these. I use the Copic Chow markers. They are a little cheaper than the Copic sketch brand, but they work exactly the same. The Chow variant just holds less ink than the Copic sketch markers. But I did come to a problem. On my first drawing, I was starting to run out of ink in one of my markers. It was my BG01 Aqua Blue marker. I didn't think that I used that one a lot, but I started to run out. I did check my overstock of markers in my supplies, and I didn't have an extra one. I didn't have a refill of it either. On my second attempt, I had to run to the art store to get the refills for the markers. When I got to coloring the chair, like I said, I took inspiration from both chairs in my reference pictures. I made the arms a wood trim, and I made the cushions a nice soft looking floral pattern. I colored the base of the cushions a deep yellow. Then I took a dark brown, a dark red, and a dark green, and made vines with green leaves and red flowers, I guess. I'm not very good at doing floral patterns, but I did my best. It was the background wall I was stumped on. I didn't know what to do. In the end, I went with this cloud background. That would be a cloud pattern on the back wall. Honestly, my intentions were good on my first attempt, but the way I went with it was all wrong. I wanted a flat color background. I started to use my B23 Phthalo Blue. I really love this color of the blues. I use this marker a lot in my Copic marker drawings. So much so that I was coloring this picture, it started to lose ink. Good thing I did have a refill of this color. Refilled the marker and I continued on. However, as I look at this drawing, I think of ways how I could have done this to get the flat color look. In this case, I did use colored pencils to go back over the drawing to blend in the streaks of the markers. That worked okay, but in the end, when I went over the drawing with the colored pencils, I took a darker blue pencil and went over the background with lines. I felt that this was a bit of a mistake. I probably should have left it alone. But it was the second attempt that I decided to try something different. I decided to pull out my airbrush that I have. I thought that this would be faster. Well, it was, but also it wasn't. I had a bit of setup that I wasn't prepared for, so I had to stop the camera and figure out how I was setting up the airbrush area. I had to mask out the areas I didn't want the blue to show up on, so that was time consuming. When I got everything set up, it went pretty quickly to get the flat color look that I wanted. I felt pretty good about this part. However, I soon later found out that I made a mistake. Originally, I was going to cut out the cloud shapes, and I should have stuck to that plan. I later thought that using my white POSCA pen would be a nice way to go. I soon found out that for some reason, the POSCA pen wasn't working all that well. I am not sure if this is the type of paper I use or the paint on the page, but the paint wasn't going down all that smooth, and the tip of the pen was having a hard time getting saturated with the paint inside the pen. In the end, I ditched the POSCA pen. I'm sure it's nice, but for me, it wasn't working right. So I decided to try and pull out my white acrylic paint and a paintbrush. This was working much better, although I had to go over some areas twice because I didn't use enough paint. I had to really coat the page with the paint, but I didn't want to coat it too much that would ruin the paper. In the end, it worked out very nicely and was very happy with the end result. Okay, I think overall I did a very good job with this drawing. I am happy with it. Even the second attempt that I did. It took a while to get all this done because of this work on the second drawing. Well, I do like both of them, but I like how the second one came out more than the first. Well, I like it, and I hope that you like this drawing also. If you do like my work here, please give this video a like so I know that you like the drawings. Also, please subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more content from me in the future. With that, I thank you much for watching, and we shall see you with the next video. Thanks and bye-bye.